Good morning, Manitoba. I'm Larry McIntosh, and I'll be your host for the next hour and every Saturday morning from 8 to 9. Thanks for tuning in. Food and Friends Radio is now on TV. Each radio show is filmed and will be posted to Mytoba.ca later this weekend. So if you want to see the TV version of this radio show or previous shows, please visit Mytoba.ca. Thanks to Nicole, who produces our show, and Chad, who is operating the camera, as well as the teachers of the Broadcasting and Media Arts program at Tech Fock High School. You can also listen to an audio podcast of Food and Friends at SoundCloud.com and at the iTunes Store. So please just do a search for Food and Friends with Larry at Mytoba.ca or SoundCloud.com or iTunes, and all the shows will come up for your listening or viewing pleasure. And it's very important to mention that Food and Friends is only available because of CJOB and its advertisers. So please tune in to 680 CJOB and listen live at CJOB.com. My guest this morning is Jordan Yantz, quarterback for the University of Manitoba Bison football team. Good morning, Jordan. Jordan. How are you today?
Good morning to you as well. Good. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, pleasure. So what's new? Just playing football?
Yeah, I mean, we're excited about this season, and we're excited to do bigger and better things than we did last year.
And I have to tell you that Shelley and I, we go to some Bomber games, but we went to several of your games last year, and I think we went to 3 of the 5, including the playoff game, which was really chilly that day.
Yeah,
you probably weren't as cold. We were cold in the stands doing nothing, but anyway,
of course.
It's great football, and it's neat being in the stadium. There's no parking problems, just because the crowds aren't as big, obviously. Yeah. But it was an incredible thing, and I highly recommend it.
Yeah, I mean, we with the new stadium and stuff that we have there, and Coach Dobie did a heck of a job recruiting, all over Canada, and we've been doing our best to do something for the fans, and this year we're trying to do a lot more in the community, and getting out there and supporting the community and helping, trying to get the city out for us and try and support us, because, I believe this year that we got a really good team and a really good team, a better team than we had last year. So, we're hoping that we can get a lot of support this year, and hopefully we can, get around that supposedly 10,000 range that they said for the first home game last year.
I was at the first home. Shelley and I were at the first home game. That was amazing.
Oh, it was something special. I mean, as players, we weren't expecting that, coming out the tunnel and looking at the crowd. And, it was one of those games where, the crowd actually did have an effect on the game. When the defense was on the field, they were making noise. And, when, so to say, the quarterback's on his back and you don't know if it's caught or it's a touchdown, and that's me usually when I'm on my back. And, if the crowd's roaring, then that means, we may have scored a touchdown. So that was exciting. So we're hoping for those kind of results this year. So we'll see come September 12th.
And we're going to talk about you and your career, but I want to talk a little bit about the home game last year. I mean, it just opens one side of the stadium, so we're all on the one side, which I guess is east side. Anyway, it doesn't matter. And so it's a little more intimate. You're right near the benches, and people are into it. But the thing that I remember most, and we had Coach Dobie on the show last year, the thing I remember the most of the opening game is you guys did amazing, and it was fantastic. The crowd was into it. When Coach Dobie, I don't know if you know this because you were playing, stood up on the bench and yelled out to everybody in the crowd, "Thank you for coming," and applauded the crowd. I actually cried. It was that one of those moments that you think, wow, is that classy?
Oh, absolutely. And he's one guy that, has put in multiple years into the city of Winnipeg, the University of Manitoba, and something that, us as players are really excited to play for, because he's a very passionate coach, a coach that shows his expression and lays everything out on the line. And, in that game specifically, coming in at halftime and, him telling us, it wasn't just a typical, cliche halftime story. It was, him coming in there and saying, hey, like, we got a huge crowd out there, and we got to put on a show for them. And, we certainly did that. I mean, it was a shootout that game. I think we scored 65 and Edmonton scored about 48 or something like that. So not much defense in that game, but I mean, it was a shootout and it was a great game. And certainly we got a ton of support from the city.
It was a great game, and beyond the fact that it was a great game, it just had a great atmosphere. I mean, it was. I was pleased we went to it. I've never been to a Bison game before that, and that convinced me that we got to go as many games as we can.
Absolutely,
because it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and with our exciting playoff game that we had last year as well. That's something that, we're trying to prove as a team that, we can do some special things. And last year it was fortunate for, well, I don't want to say fortunate for us, but the Bombers, didn't have too much success there in the beginning. And we tried to, so to say, bring a little bit of a spark. So, this year it's kind of the opposite. The Bombers have a good team, a really good team. And, we want to be that good too. So, hopefully we can get the same support.
The stadium itself, your first season was last year? Or?
Yeah, first year with the Bisons.
So you're never in the old stadium?
No.
So you can't really appreciate the difference.
Well, I mean, I came from a junior football program out in BC, and, I've been through the Butler Hut, which is, where the old locker room was at the old stadium.
Okay.
And it wasn't nothing special. The spiders in the showers and all that fun stuff. But, I mean, what we got now is second to none. I mean, we're spoiled as college football players. In Canada, I mean, in America, that's what they're used to.
Mm-hmm.
They're spoiled down there in college football. But up here, I mean, hands down, we got the best facilities in Canada as university football players for sure. So it's something special.
Great. We'll be right back with Jordan Yantz, quarterback for the University of Manitoba Bison football team, right after we take this break for your 680 CJOB weather update. Welcome back to Food and Friends. Please follow us on Twitter at Peak of the Market for recipes and Manitoba veggie crop updates, and there's lots of crops coming off in the next several weeks. We have over 100,000 Twitter followers from all over the world, and we'd love to have you follow us too. Again, we're at Peak of the Market, or my Twitter account is at Larry McIntosh. We're back with Jordan Yantz, quarterback for the University of Manitoba Bison football team. Now, Jordan, I happen to know you're on Twitter too.
Yeah.
And you're
absolutely.
a regular, you just send a lot of tweets out.
Here and there.
I looked. You send out tweets.
Yeah, I try to. I mean, majority of what I'm doing now is, I'm trying to promote our team and do the most we can as far as that's concerned. So, I'm on there.
And you're congratulating some of the people that made various CFL teams that you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. A bunch of guys that I've played ball with over the years. Actually, one guy that's in town, is going to be playing. So it's exciting.
Yeah. And on your Twitter feed, I found that there was a highlight reel of last year for you.
Yeah, there is.
I watched that.
Nice.
That was amazing.
It was good. It was something special. Obviously every year I try and, congratulate not congratulate, but conglomerate a bunch of plays and put it together. So it was pretty special.
Now, I should tell you, for your interest, and you're going to know this if you haven't already figured out, I'm a sports fan, but I know zero about it. So I can't tell you about, you should have done the bob versus the weave. I don't know that technology. When we have conversations with my coworkers at work, they say, the Barmer should have done this or whoever should have done this. I don't know. I just know it's amazing to watch and a lot of talent. And some of the times, on the highlight reel, some of the throws you make, how many yards do those things go? That's amazing.
Well, some of them, surprised myself, honestly. But, it's one thing that, when there's to me, I look at it at a point where, when there's a guy running downfield at full speed and it's just, I've been throwing the ball since I've been, 8-10 years old. And when you see a guy 20 yards downfield, it's kind of comes to an instinct with me, just tossing it and, hey, I got to put it there for him and he's got to run under it. So, it's more of the type of thing where, when I say, I'm going to throw it that far, I got to get it there, it kind of doesn't happen that way. As far as when you don't think about it and you're just like, boom, you got to chuck it downfield. It seems like it goes a lot farther that way.
So I'm going to share my athletic, abilities from my childhood.
All right.
Zero. So as our listeners won't be surprised, I'm not an athletic person. I'm a business person. I think I do okay at that. But I was asked to throw the opening pitch at a Gold Eyes game, Winnipeg Gold Eyes game once. Yeah. So just whatever, 4,000 or 5,000, whatever they have in the crowd. It wasn't quite full because it's just before the game, but a lot of people in there. So I stood on the pitcher's mound and Goldie was behind the plate waiting for it, and I threw with all my might, and it was about 8 feet short of the plate. That's my pitching career as far as athletics. So I can't even imagine how you throw the ball down that far.
Well, like I say, everything comes with practice, and I'm still practicing and still trying to get better because I don't feel that consistently of where I want to be, and there's always room for improvement. So it's something that I consistently been working on.
So are you in training camp now, or?
Well, not right now. Our season starts a little bit later, so our training camp doesn't open until August 22nd.
Okay.
And then we're at that for a couple weeks, and our first regular season game is on the road in Saskatchewan, September 5th. So that'll be exciting for us. So basically, right now we're on we're training, mandatory training 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, with our speed training and conditioning testing, and then right after that, quick 20-minute break, and we're in the weight room with Coach Barr, our strength and conditioning coach. He's done an outstanding spent the entire off season with us, and he's done an outstanding job. With every single player and every single position group, there's been nothing but success with everyone, and we're happy with that. And it's been, everybody's had good results, and it's everything's still on the rise. So props to him, and like I say, go back to our facility with that. Coach Doby certainly put us in the right position to succeed in the weight room because we got all the tools that we need in there. And with Coach Barr, he used to work with the Canadian Olympic rugby team. So he's doing a great job with us and, transforming us into, physical beasts. So, I'm not worried about any team this year. I think that physically we're going to be there. Now it just comes down to the mental game once training camp starts on August 22nd.
Now, your weight facility, whatever you call that, is different than the Bombers, right?
Yeah. We our locker room. Our locker room. It's basically ours, right? You go down the elevator to the players area, and you simply go left to our locker room and right to the Bombers. And you walk through our locker room. From our locker room goes to our showers and all bathrooms and all that types of stuff. And you walk through there, and then goes into our weight room. And then through our weight room, goes into our meeting rooms and then the coaches' offices, and then the coaches even have their own locker room in there as well. So, that's strictly, Bison athletes, specifically Bison football players, but, Coach Barr is the strength and conditioning coach for the University of Manitoba, and he does, train other athletic teams in there when we're not in there. So he's doing a good job at that, and he's a full-time coach, strength and conditioning coach. So hats off to him.
We'll be right back with Jordan Yantz from the University of Manitoba Bisons right after this break. Welcome back to Food and Friends. It's time for our recipe segment called Now We're Cooking. You don't need to write this recipe down, as it's today's recipe of the day at peakmarket.com and in the Winnipeg Sun. So you can get all the information from our website or today's Winnipeg Sun. Today's recipe is tuna pepper melt. Tuna pepper melt. And here's what you need for the recipe. 2 6-ounce cans of tuna, drained. 1/4 cup of finely chopped celery. 1/4 cup of sweet relish. 1/4 cup of red or green pepper, or a mixture of both, finely chopped. 1/4 cup of mayonnaise, 2 tablespoons of plain yogurt, and 8 English muffins, or you can use a sliced French bread or Kaiser buns if you want, but this is for English muffins. 1/2 cup of shredded cheddar cheese. In a bowl, mix together the tuna, celery, relish, chopped peppers, mayonnaise, yogurt, and lemon juice. Blend them well. Then on a cookie sheet, toast the English muffins until golden. Remove from the oven and spread tuna mixture evenly over the English muffin. Then sprinkle with cheese. Broil for 2 to 3 minutes or until the cheese is melted and golden. And this recipe serves 4. Again, this recipe is tuna pepper melt is today's recipe of the day at peakmarket.com and in the Winnipeg Sun. And all the recipes on our website or in the newspaper have both metric and imperial measurements. And if you're looking for more recipes, we have over 4,000 recipes at peakmarket.com, and you can even sign up to get them delivered to your email box every day if you want. So join our recipe club. You just visit peakmarket.com as well. We'll be right back with Jordan Yantz, quarterback of the University of Manitoba Bison football team, after we take this break for your 680 CJB News, Sports, and Weather Update. Welcome back to Food and Friends. I want to remind you that Peak of the Market has a Facebook page. Please find us and like us on Facebook. We currently have over 100,000 likes, and we'd love to have you join the group. We're updating our status regularly on our news on our charity events and interesting veggie tidbits. So please find us and like us on Facebook. We're back with Jordan Yantz, quarterback for the University of Manitoba Bison football team. I'm so worried about mispronouncing Bison. I mispronounced your name. Sorry about that. So Jordan, let's talk about you. So you came to University of Manitoba last year for the first season.
Yeah.
Where are you from originally?
I'm originally from Regina, Saskatchewan. Born and raised there. Grew up there and played football there. And
so you're a Rough Riders fan?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Born and raised, and I was there in 2007 when they won it and was part of the celebration. So it was fun.
Great. So you were born in Regina, and you ended up in Vancouver at some point, didn't you, or BC?
Yeah. So I was born in Regina, played high school football and all of my ball there, and then I actually went out to Vancouver Island, and based out in Nanaimo, which was the team, the Vancouver Island Raiders, and I played there from 2008 to 2012, and in those span of the years, we had a lot of success. In 2008 and 2009, we won back-to-back national championships. In 2010, we made it to the championship and happened to fall short in 2010, and along with 2011. And in 2012, we fell short in the conference championship. So it was a good run that we had out there.
So you went to the Vancouver Island specifically to play football?
Yes, yeah.
Great. So was that a change for you?
Oh, yeah, a huge change.
Yeah.
It was kind of one of the things that just kind of came up on me. And, I went out there and, who would ever want to leave that place? I mean, if you ever been, I do recommend to head out there because it's a beautiful place, beautiful people, and it's something that's just absolutely outstanding place to live. And, the thing is it's tough, to just live and be a junior football player and that types of stuff. You kind of have to have, like anywhere, have a job and a career set in place to do that. So it's more of a relaxing type of place, and that's kind of what I'm all about.
So as I recall, a friend of ours, a quasi-friend, friends overstating, Wally Bono, you may have heard of him.
Absolutely.
And when I say he's a friend, I've met him 2 or 3 times. We've had 10-minute conversations, but I'll consider him a friend because he's famous, right?
For sure.
So, you won the Wally Bono award, 2012?
Yeah.
So what was that about?
Basically, it's the Wally Bono Award was put into place, I think, in 2008 or 2009, and they recognize the top junior football player in Canada, and not just specifically, skill related and that types of stuff and success. I mean, obviously it is, but along with stuff that how the person carries themselves in the community where they're playing, how the person carries himself as an individual. So, the Vancouver Island Raiders put me in a great position to have some success out there and, help me grow up, not only as a football player, but as an individual. And that's something that, the island and my coach out there, Coach Matthew Blocker, also known as Coach Snoop, has done a great job of helping me grow up and be a man. So I'm very proud of that program.
Now, Wally said that you remind him of Matt Dunnigan when he was at Louisiana Tech. Isn't that the ultimate compliment?
Absolutely.
Does that put you under a little bit of pressure?
I mean, absolutely. I mean, Matt Dunnigan's a gunslinger.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's exciting. That's a compliment for sure. Coming from that man above. So it's exciting.
So how did you end up at the University of Manitoba?
I played with multiple players that played for the University of Manitoba in the 2011 season, 2012 season, which would have been my last season on Vancouver Island.
Okay.
And they came out to the University of Manitoba, and they had some success, and the team, basically was on an upring, and they were getting better and progressing from year to year. And I had the opportunity to not only Coach Dobie coming out and recruiting me, but he came out to Vancouver Island and recruited multiple guys from Vancouver Island. And it was something special for me because we have the opportunity as young athletes, being 21, 22-year-old kids, is that we get the opportunity to come and continue to play football together. Coach Dobie ended up recruiting 5, 6, I think around 7 guys from the Vancouver Island Raiders. And, we all came out to Manitoba and Winnipeg, which I don't know why, because the city. But anyway, I'm just kidding. We came out here, and last year was our first season, and we had a blast. It's an opportunity that not many kids in a lifetime get to do and carry on those memories together and progress through them. And now coming into our last year, we're excited. We have a really good team, and we created some chemistry that I don't think very many people have in CIS football and in the Canada West. So we're excited about that, and we're going to do some pretty big things this year.
And when Coach Dobie was on the show a year ago, because it was just before last season, he was talking about, I don't know if it was on the show or during the commercial break, we were talking about his trip to Vancouver Island and talking to various players and how he was talking about the program and that. So because you had friends that came here, if you want to call it that, or fellow players, is that what convinced you to come here, or is it the coach, or did you look at other universities? Or?
Well, I was recruited by multiple other universities.
I imagine.
I definitely wouldn't come to Winnipeg because the city's beautiful or anything like that. But I come here because Coach Dobie is second to none at what he does. He is an outstanding football coach. He could sell you a pencil. I mean, he's a really good guy, and he does his job very well. And you know what? The most positive thing and the most thing I realized from actually sitting down and having dinner with him is that he'll tell you straight up and how it is. He won't beat around the bush and say he's going to do this and that for you and not do it. So he'll be a straight shooter, and he'll tell you how it is. Hey, you're going to come in here and you're going to compete for a job, and we're not just going to hand it to you. You're going to compete, and this is how it's going to be. If you don't get it, well, sorry, we're going to move on, and we're going to put the best players on the field. And, that's the kind of guy you want to play for, and the guy that you can trust and that types of stuff. So it's good.
We'll be right back with Jordan Yantz, quarterback for the University of Manitoba Bison football team, after this break. Welcome back to Food and Friends. Manitoba-grown kale and zucchini are now available at your local store. Just coming off the field this week, so kale and zucchini. And coming up in the next 2 to 3 weeks, peak of the market green and yellow beans, beets, broccoli, cucumbers, and cauliflower. So 2 to 3 weeks, we're going to have tons of things coming up. So again, kale and zucchini right now. Run down to your store later today. And in a few weeks, it'll be green and yellow beans, beets, broccoli, cauliflower, and cucumbers. And after that, it's something new coming on every week. Now, speaking of kale, kale is known as one of the superfoods. Last year, we sold more kale than the last 5 years combined, because everybody's talking about all the nutrients and minerals and everything in kale. So it's become the new superfood of vegetables. Well, it's been around for 50 years. But speaking of kale, if you email me right now, before 10 o'clock this morning, at LarryMcIntosh@peakmarket.com, that's Larry McIntosh at peakmarket.com, with the word Bisons Eat Kale in the subject line, you'll be entered into a draw to win 2 tickets to the home opener of the Bison football game. So you'll be able to go out and see Jordan at the game. So again, if you want to enter the draw, send me an email before 10 o'clock this morning at LarryMcIntosh@peakmarket.com and simply put in the subject line, Bisons Eat Kale. And the first game is against the Regina Rams on September 12th. So we're back with Jordan Yantz, quarterback for the University of Manitoba Bison football team. Do you eat kale?
Yeah, absolutely.
You do? Really?
Yeah. I mean, my girlfriend puts it in our food, in our salads here and there, so it's good.
Salad, you don't have shakes? It seems to be a popular thing for shakes.
Well, you know what? I'm not much of a green guy in my shakes type thing. I'll take a straight shot of protein and stuff like that, but once you start mixing way too many things in there, it kind of gets a little bit grimy.
So you were talking the last half hour. Right now, you're in weight training or for three days a week. Is that what it was?
Yeah, mandatory 3 days a week.
So you're obviously not in university at this time of year.
No, it's a summer vacation for us. So,
but you're still got to keep the physical fitness up.
Absolutely, yeah, and that's one thing that the coaches and our strength team has done an outstanding job thus far.
So, for yourself as an athlete, and you've obviously been doing this a lot of years, is there a certain diet you follow? Is there things you do before games, or?
It's all routine and stuff. But like I said, Coach Matt Barr, our strength and conditioning coach, did give us a dietary plan and stuff like that. And the biggest part at this point is, with us running 3 times a week for a straight full hour and speed, working on speed and conditioning as well, and then hitting right into the weight room after that, the biggest thing is making sure you're eating. At this point, it's not about, all right, I got to cut down all my carbs and do that types of stuff. But, you're really focused on, refueling the body. It's like refueling your car. It's refueling the body, because out there when you're running for an hour in the sun and then you're in the gym, you're working hard, lifting for an hour. I mean, you're burning calories like it's going out of style. So, the biggest thing is making sure you're eating and getting the right amount of, protein and carbs and refueling the body.
And I've talked to some Bomber football players over at various events over the years. A lot of them are lots of meat. I mean, they eat a lot of meat. Some of them are a lot of vegetables. Some of them a lot of everything, I guess.
Yeah.
So I was wondering if you do you eat a lot of meat because of, is that important?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
I mean, chicken is my best friend.
Okay.
That's my biggest thing, and nothing's wrong with a big juicy steak either. So especially in the summer months when you can fire up the barbecue and that types of stuff. But I mean, chicken's the highest source of protein, so it's something that's tasteful for me.
Mm-hmm. So when you look at all your years of playing football, you're on the island for 4 years, did you say? Was it 4?
5.
5 years on the island. You've been here 1 year.
Yeah.
High school before that. What do you think your most successful season is so far?
Well, honestly, I think last year I had, a lot of success. I mean, you're never going to take away a national championship, away, and that's something that I'll always live with for the rest of my life, and that was special for me.
Sure.
But, last year coming to the CIS, my first year in the CIS after playing junior and coming here with a whole new team, a whole new offense, a whole new league, and everything, I thought myself, not only myself, but the team had a lot of success. And I think that last year was a very successful year, and I think going on, I'm hoping to, maybe next year be the have the most success next year, and hopefully, go out with a bang, and hopefully end up in the Vanier Cup.
So you seem, we just met the first time this morning, so you seem very personable. You seem like a good representative, and I've heard lots of nice things about you in the community. That's why we asked you to be on the show.
Sure.
Do you think that's important for you to do that, or you just really concentrate on community events, or is it just really about football is important?
Well, the biggest thing is and one thing, that we want to do and what we're trying to do more as Bison football players is support the community. So, you got to give to get. So one big thing that we're trying to do is support the community and so we can get more fans to our games, plain and simple. And, I like doing that. I like heading out to the community. I was at Joseph Terrace School reading books to the kids and stuff like that in the morning with the jersey on and stuff. And, I like doing those types of things because, when I was a kid, getting out there and when I used to see, well, in that time it was the University of Regina, seeing athletes and the Saskatchewan Rough Riders, and you always look up to those kids, and that's one thing that I like doing, and I like to take part in and join in the community, because not only do I feel that it's right just to do for the football team and the university, for myself and satisfaction of having that feeling and helping others and doing stuff like that. It's a really satisfying feeling.
Now, you're from Regina originally, and I just want to say this for the record, that, you're fitting into Winnipeg because we tend to bash our own city. And after the last segment, you said off the air, I'm just kidding, right? So I want our listeners to know you like our city. And Victoria's a beautiful place.
Yeah.
The island is. But you're only kidding about what you were saying before.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the only reason I say those types of things is because people would say, when I first came here, you came from Vancouver Island, why would you come here? And now it's just turned into a slang that some people would joke on me. But no, this city has done nothing but good things for me. They treated me well, and here I am on 680, and you guys treat me well by inviting me here and doing good things like that. And I what can I say? I got nothing bad to say about the city. They treat me well.
We'll be right back with Jordan Yantz of the University of Manitoba Bison football team after this break. Welcome back to Food and Friends. My guest today has been Jordan Yantz, quarterback for the University of Manitoba Bisons football team. Now, Jordan, I just want to say that people should come out and see the games. They're amazing. And tickets for adults are only $15 or $8 for students and seniors. So it's and children under 6 are free. It's worthwhile going out and seeing a game and cheering you on and hopefully have some big crowds this year.
Absolutely. We're hoping for the best, and we're hoping Coach Dobie has done a great job putting a team together for us this year. So we're hoping for some big support, and hopefully we can get a lot of fans out.
And if people want to reach you on Twitter, what's your...
At Yantz16.
At Yantz16. Well, thank you, Jordan, for being on Food and Friends.
Awesome. Thanks for having me on.
Join me next Saturday at 8 a.m. for another interesting conversation with an interesting Manitoban. Thanks to Nicole Bonnycamp, our show's producer. Great job as always, Nicole. Take care, and please don't forget to eat your veggies.